How to not solo camp. 10 incredibly common steps to avoid solo camping. The romanticized ideal of solitude, self-sufficiency, and nature's raw beauty. But behind the Instagram-worthy images of serene lakes and morning sunrises lurk mistakes that could turn your peaceful retreat into a horrifying survival story. So, let's dive into an extended masterclass on what not to do during your solo camping adventure, because no one wants to end up a cautionary tale. 1. Don't go without telling anyone your plans. Your desire for independence is admirable, but unless you want to be the next missing hiker story on the evening news, discovered frozen with a half-eaten Cliff Bar, let someone know where you're going. According to Outdoor Safe, nearly 60% of solo hiking and camping rescues happen because the person didn't inform anyone of their itinerary. Many of these incidents could have been resolved faster if people had simply told someone where they were heading and when they'd be back. In the worst-case scenario, you want someone to know when to start worrying. Whether you're venturing into a national park or a remote area, always notify a friend, a family member, or even a nosy neighbor about your plans. The more precise your details, the better. Solo camping is about independence, sure, but a little interdependence can save your life. 2. Don't leave the map and compass at home. Modern technology is a wonderful thing, but relying solely on your smartphone's GPS when you're miles away from civilization is akin to walking into a trap. First off, your battery won't last forever. And second, most wild areas have little to no cell service. According to the Wilderness Society, getting lost is a leading cause of solo camper rescues. And more often than not, it's preventable with just a bit of navigational know-how. So pack a map and compass, and wait for it. Learn how to use them. Think of it as your insurance policy against wandering in circles, hoping for a signal. Remember, that famous compass scene in Pirates of the Caribbean doesn't work in real life. Without one, you're just wandering aimlessly. 3. Don't depend solely on your phone. Yes, your phone is packed with all sorts of survival apps, but what happens when that battery dips to 1% and you can't find your charger? Phones are amazing until they're not. Once your battery dies, all that fancy tech becomes a brick in your backpack. A 2019 study by REI found that 50% of solo campers admitted to over-relying on their phones for navigation and weather forecasts. Let's be honest, your phone isn't going to start a fire or purify water for you. If you're camping solo, bring extra batteries, solar chargers, or portable power banks. But more importantly, learn how to manage without technology. Fires, water purification, food, these are basic survival skills that, unfortunately, don't come with an app. 4. Don't camp near dangerous wildlife. This is not a Disney movie where you befriend the woodland creatures. In reality, they're more interested in your food, or you, than in forming a bond. In fact, bear-related camping incidents in North America saw a spike of 20% in 2022, thanks to poor campsite choices. Camping too close to wildlife hotspots is a fast track to disaster. Set up your camp far from animal trails, water sources, and food-rich areas. And when it comes to bears, you don't want to wake up to a furry friend rummaging through your belongings. Store your food in bear-proof containers and hang it far away from your tent. Bears have an excellent sense of smell, and that granola bar you stashed in your tent? Might as well send them a dinner invitation. 5. Don't overpack or underpack packing. For a solo trip can feel like trying to balance on a tightrope. Overpack and you're weighed down by unnecessary items. Underpack and you're in trouble when you realize you forgot the rain jacket or extra food. There's a sweet spot between bringing too much and too little, and hitting that spot is crucial for a successful solo camping trip. A report by Backpacker magazine revealed that one of the most common mistakes for solo campers is overpacking gear and supplies. Bring only what you need: lightweight food, water purification systems, extra clothing layers, and emergency supplies. It's not about minimalism, it's about being practical. If you find yourself dragging a 40-pound pack for a weekend trip, rethink your priorities. But at the same time, don't skimp on the essentials. Forgetting something as simple as an extra layer can leave you freezing. And while you may think you're tough, the cold doesn't care. 6. Don't forget basic fire safety. Sure, you've seen people light campfires in movies, and it always looks so simple. But in real life, fires have a habit of getting out of control, and fast. Did you know that 85% of wildfires in the US are human-caused? Careless campfires are one of the biggest offenders. Imagine the guilt of turning a serene forest into a smoking ruin, Because you didn't extinguish your campfire properly. Keep your fire small, contained, and manageable. Never leave it unattended, and before you hit the sack, make sure it's completely out. I'm talking cold to the touch, no embers smoldering. Otherwise, you might be remembered not for your epic solo adventure, but for a national news story about a wildfire. 7. Don't ignore the weather. Weather can turn on you faster than a plot twist in Game of Thrones. That balmy, sunshine-filled morning? It can become a torrential downpour by noon. According to the National Weather Service, unexpected weather changes account for a significant percentage of solo camping emergencies, especially in mountainous areas where weather patterns are unpredictable. Check the forecast before heading out, and always be prepared for the worst. Pack a waterproof tent, rain gear, and extra warm layers, even if the forecast looks clear. As the old saying goes, hope for the best, but prepare for the worst. After all, you don't want to be that person who ends up as the soggy subject of a rescue mission because you underestimated Mother Nature. 8. Don't forget to practice basic hygiene. Yes, you're out in the wild, but that doesn't mean you can skip out on basic hygiene. Neglecting cleanliness can lead to more than just bad smells. It can attract bugs, animals, and infections. In fact, a study by Wilderness Medicine found that nearly 40% of campers who experienced medical issues while camping could trace the cause back to poor hygiene. Pack biodegradable soap, wipes, and a small towel. Stay clean, especially if you're dealing with cuts or scrapes. And please, for the love of all things sanitary, wash your hands before eating or after using the bathroom. You're not trying to catch a wilderness version of food poisoning. 9. Don't panic, here's a scene for you. You're lost. The sun is setting, shadows are growing, and every rustle sounds like a predator. Your heart's racing, your palms are sweaty, mom's spaghetti, and panic is creeping in. Stop. Panic is the killer of good decision-making. When you panic, you're no longer thinking rationally, and this is where mistakes compound. According to Mountain Rescue Association, panic leads to 70% of all survival-related fatalities in the wilderness. Take a breath. Assess the situation. Follow the basic survival principle. Stop. Stop, think, observe, and plan. The wilderness may be intimidating, but your best tool is a clear mind. This isn't a horror movie, so don't act like you're the main character about to meet their doom. Honorable mention 1. Don't skip the bug. Repellent. Mosquitoes, ticks, and other bugs are not part of the experience. They're part of the problem. A study by the American Camp Association found that bug bites were one of the top reasons solo campers had to cut trips short. Bring that bug spray, slather it on, and spare yourself the misery of swatting away bloodthirsty insects all night. Also, running the risk of getting some of the diseases ticks carry is no exciting feat. Those little guys can leave permanent effects on the quality of life, so let's just play it safe with prayer and bug spray. Honorable mention 2. Don't get fancy with your food. Look, this isn't Iron Chef Wilderness Edition. Leave the fancy 5-course meals for your home kitchen. Simple, easy-to-cook meals will save you time, effort, and tears. Nothing is worse than ruining your gourmet meal in the middle of nowhere, realizing you've burned through all your ingredients, and now all you have left is a sad-looking granola bar. Solo camping can be an amazing experience, but only if you avoid these common pitfalls. If you make smart choices, your adventure can be a rewarding one. If not, you'll be lucky to come out with just a few funny stories, or worst case, a starring role in your own personal survival thriller. Either way, make sure you know what not to do on your next solo adventure. Start by liking and subscribing to avoid the mosquito monster visiting your next hike. Kidding, but thanks for sticking through the video. Good luck and Godspeed, my friends.